So for today, I'm just reminding everybody how to graph these. I also want to remind you about a few that should just stand out to you like automatic answers. If I said log base 28 of negative 28, what's the answer? Say it if you know it. No solution. You can't have a negative there. So it's a trick question. What's the answer now? 1. What's the answer now? Negative 3. Would it be legal to put that there? Yes, it is okay. And it's weird, but it's true. You can put that out to the front. Why is the answer still negative 3? Because that part is 1, and then 1 times negative 3. It still works. More often that happens when you have an x in front. No, I'm not going to put another x in here. I'll put like a 5 in there. Because if I had this, I would have been tempted to do the circle of logs, but it wouldn't work. Because of that, what do you do with the x? So, what do you do with the x? Put it where? Yep. You're going to put it into the exponent spot, and then it'll be 3 to the 6th equals 5 to the x. And it's not fun. It's still hard to do, but at least you've got it rewritten. This is some huge number. All right. How about this? Can you remember how to add 2 logs together that have the same base? And if you do, then let's set it equal to 2. So last time, I told you, if you can factor, you should, works. And if you can add the logs, you should. That's going to be 1 log base 2. Did you realize it was log base 2 of 5 times x? Could have said x times 5, but that feels kind of backwards. And it equals 2. Then, circle of logs. 2 to the 2nd equals 5x. 2 to the 2nd is 4 equals 5x. And then if you can't solve it from there, you're in the wrong class. You just want to get the x alone. All right, here's another one. Now, just to clarify, all of this 1 minus x, that's all in the base. The argument part, I'll put a parenthesis around. That's the argument part. Are there 2 logs I can add together? No, that's like one of those rules, but I'm just kind of going through the rules. What else can you do on logs to like solve them?
Circle of logs.
Circle of logs. If your next year's teacher said, what the heck is the circle of logs? You can just show them. Because it's not an official math term. This could be called rewriting the log as an exponential or as an exponent problem. 1 minus x to the 1 is equal to 2. And I should really put that in parentheses, although when you're putting something in the power of 1, it doesn't really matter too much. So it's really just 1 minus x equals 2. And so then I'm subtracting 1, and I get negative x is equal to 1, and so x equals negative 1. Now I want you to see if it actually worked. See this? Did you even think about checking it? If x equals negative 1, I could put a negative 1 right there. Let's see if it actually works. What is 1 minus negative 1? It's 2. It's in log base 2 of 2 is 1. Hey, it worked. I know it works. I'm positive I'm right now. All right. Now, a little more tricky one. log base, this is similar but different, 1 minus x of 4 equals 2. Solve. I did one just like it a second ago, but I'm going to see if you figure something out. Did you remember the parentheses around the 1 minus x, or did you just square the x? That's the first chance to mess up. Next, did you remember to put it to the 1/2 power to get rid of the squared? And then, did you remember that means absolute value? Did anybody even remember that? Did anybody remember the absolute value? Nice, 2 people. Is that cruel and unusual? Well, it's definitely cruel. It's not going to be unusual, though. It's going to happen. And with this many smart kids in a room and only 2 of them remembered it, there's going to be a lot of people that forget that. When you square root, it's an even root. You got to bring in the absolute values because it'll be 2 answers. Now, take a second and solve it. Finish this problem. There's a problem just like it on today's homework. And if I did it in class and then it's on the homework, you can expect it's probably going to be on a test. So let's finish this up. And if you're like, I don't remember these, 1 minus x equals 2 is your first equation. Did you get 1 and 3? Raise your hand if you got those. Awesome. You're all wrong. Did you actually check and see if they work? We just talked about this. 1, if you put it there, you sense a problem. Log to the base of 1 minus 1. Log to the base 0? That's not a thing. Violetta.
The answer to the first thingy was negative.
Okay, let's hold that thought a second. Okay, you're right. You're right. This one is a negative 1. Thank you. Now that one, though, that one will work then because 1 minus negative 1 is log base 2, and that one actually works. But does 3 actually work? See, if I put a 3 right here, I'll be up at negative base. See? Warning you. Can't say I didn't warn you. It's called an extraneous answer. Double check your answers. Anytime you do a square root, you're going to get 2 answers. That's the first thing. And the second thing is one of them might not work because you're in Logville now. And you can't have negative bases and you can't have negative arguments. So if you don't check these, just like those other problems I warned you, if there were square roots in the problem, you might end up with the square root of a negative by accident. Well, on these, you might end up with a base or an argument that's negative by accident. So watch out. I warned you. All right. We're almost done. what if there's an x over here? But wait, I'm going to make it a little more complicated. This 3, I'm going to make it a 1/3. Okay. You know, a lot of people are so used to this, they're like, okay, I'll rewrite it. No, you would not want to rewrite this one. Why? What's the point? The point is to get x alone. Do you need to do a complicated rewrite to get x alone? What do you do to get x alone? You just divide by 5. You can do that? Yes, but do you know that that's just a number? Because you should see right away that that really could have a base of 3, and then that whole big black box, that's just a number. Do you agree it comes out to -1? All right. So your answer then is x equals, and if that's all just -1, because that's really 3 to the -1. So if that's all -1, it's -1/5. And I just recently burned you enough that I hope you thought, but I wonder if that one is extraneous. So if you go back and put a -1/5 there, does that break any laws? No, you can have negatives over there. That's okay. You just couldn't have negatives here or here. All right. So, moral of the story, the things you should watch out for a lot today is if there's 2 logs, put it together and make 1 log. And rewriting them using the circle of logs is going to happen all the time. All right. Now, I'm going to err on the side of you get a ton of work time today, and almost everybody finished it in class. So even I didn't need to cut any out because I'm giving you so much work time. And you can ask the kids next to you, and we'll even do a couple together to start with. So everybody pull up the worksheet that's assigned for today. You crank this sign, you'll get this thing done in class. Then tomorrow in class, I've gotten us ahead enough that all we have to do tomorrow in class is one little 20-minute quiz. It's called the first 20. So it's algebra topics. Thank you. Would you read me number 1?
Long base x of 36 equals 2.
One more time.
Log base x of 36 equals 2.
Awesome. Then I bet you did this. X to the second equals 36. And then it's really close to solved. And then you just do square root of both sides. I'm going to use the 1/2 power, but I could use the square root sign. And x equals 6, and you're wrong. Because why? Absolute value. And then, weirdly, x equals 6 and x equals -6 is also wrong. Why? Yes. But I know some people like, well, I actually knew that -6 wasn't going to work, so I'm just going to leave it as x equals 6. You will not get credit. You have to identify that there's actually 2 answers, and that one doesn't work. We're crossing it off and writing ext. Why doesn't it work? Because look, you can't put a negative there. All right. Now you got a whole bunch of time and some problems to do. Stay motivated and you can get them done. You can walk out of here and be done. I'm going to ask that since we have so much work time, that cell phones don't come out for like the first 10 minutes or so, okay? Because otherwise some people, all they're going to do is get locked into a game and they aren't going to get anything done. You should be playing games during this time. No phones yet. I'll tell you in a bit when phones are okay. This is a work time. That worksheet should be able to be finished in class. And if anybody really wants to do well on that first 20, here's where it is. /F20. I made that the other day to make it faster to get to. It just goes right to the first 20. algebraninja.com/F20. Lowercase. If you don't know this about website names, it doesn't matter if you capitalize the letters or not. It should go there. And that's where the first 20 is. And if there's any of those you don't get, you can study them tonight because that test is tomorrow. And I did that on purpose because conferences are Thursday and Friday. And I want to know, are your basics really weak or not? Because I'm going to tell on you. If your basics are really weak, I'll be letting people know. Hey, they haven't been working on it. I told them a while ago they should work on it. So, moral of the story, try to have this. I don't expect you to be getting like 20 out of 20. But you should be up to in the mid-teens. All right, that's all I got for you for today.